to use Brew's sales forecasting functionality to create and save forecasts, which we can then use to help you identify when product stock's due to run out and ensure our production plan is always going to cover our sales. So to start, head to Products, Tools and Reports, Sales Forecasts. So this is where you'll be able to see a list of all your sales forecasts after you've created them. To get started on one, come to New Sales Forecast. Now, first we need to start with a name for our forecast. So you'll want to give your forecast a clear name just so that your team knows exactly what scenario they're looking at when they're running this forecast. So for example, something like Q1 2026 is nice and simple. You can create multiple forecasts in Breww. So it would be possible to create a Q1 2026 optimistic version and a Q1 2026 pessimistic version. You would later then be able to run both of those and see the differences in how they affect your production schedule so that you can make a more informed decision about what you want to do going forward. This one we'll just call Q1 2026 baseline. Now you can also add a description here to just remember exactly why and how you created this forecast. So any methodology, any input from any of your sales team about how you came to it, that it included one-off events that were happening at the time, anything like that that helps you go back and review afterwards how successful the forecast was, help you review how you came to it, what you did to help you make improvements in the future. Now, there are multiple ways to start your forecasts. I'm going to start with the manual way, which is to simply come down to our forecast data section here, where we have a grid of all of our products and the time frames and the time periods as columns. So we can switch between a monthly and a weekly view. If we want to forecast weekly, in this example, we'll do a monthly forecast, and we're looking to do it until the end of March 2026. So I can just leave this grid full of the full 12 months that Breww automatically populates, or if I'd like to just tidy it up, I can just click on the one I'd like to delete and say delete this and all future columns to leave me with the time frame which I want to work with. Then I would simply enter all my forecasts here. So I can enter them just like I would in any sort of forecasting spreadsheet functionality. If you'd prefer to work in Excel or Google Sheets and that's where you'd like to populate it, that's also absolutely fine. You can simply click the Export CSV button after you've set up your columns and your periods, which will then export a template in which you can fill in one of the other programs. Once you're done in there, you can simply come back, import it back into Breww, and it will populate this grid. The third and final way of generating your forecast is through Breww's machine learning forecast generation. So Breww has the ability here, if we click the Show Automatic Forecasting options, to analyze our historical sales patterns and generate accurate forecasts using state-of-the-art machine learning. So this model will automatically look at your seasonal patterns and trends, any product-specific demand variations across seasonality, and your brewery's overall growth patterns to determine a forecast to generate. So because this is based on your own brewery sales and only your own brewery sales, you do need to build up enough historical data in Breww in order to take advantage of it. So if you've been using Breww for a number of years, this won't be a problem. You will already have established seasonality in Breww that the forecast can pick up on. If you don't, it's also not a problem. You can come here to Manage Pre-Breww Historical Data, where we can upload historical data that we had from pre-Breww. So for example, here's one I uploaded, which we can do from the Upload Historical Data button here. You simply upload a CSV of the product code and the product name, one of which has to match a product in Breww, a date and a quantity of sale for that product on that date. Give that a name. For example, here I've given it just pre-Breww sales, but you might also add a description. For example, this was exported from my previous software or from my previous Excel spreadsheets. Upload the file, save it. Breww will process it, and then you can see a snapshot of the data here. So here we can say this sales data covered everything from 2022 to the end of October 2025. I can preview some of the data in here just to check that it looks like exactly what I was expecting. The dates are correct, the quantities are correct. Once I'm happy with that, I can come back to my sales forecast, and we want to generate 5 months until the end of March 2026 and do a monthly forecast period. I can also get Breww to generate me a weekly forecast, the number of periods I want to forecast and generate. Breww will then generate the forecast for me based on those historical sales that I uploaded, because as I'm a demo account, it's almost purely working off of those historical sales that I uploaded, and generate me my forecast. Once I'm happy, I can save it. But before I do so, it's always a good idea to have a look through the forecast and have a think about the sort of one-off events that might be happening in the future that your historical sales data might not reflect, and therefore Breww wouldn't be able to pick up on. So, for example, if I have a brand new distribution deal or a large customer signing up who I know will be ordering a large amount of a certain product, I can jump in and I can say, well, actually, I know we are doing a lot of events in January that we wouldn't normally do, and I would expect this to increase the number of a product that we sell. So, for example, I can come in here and say, actually, I expect this to be 2,500 cases because we're doing a special offer on that. Once I'm happy, I can click Save, where I'll be able to see my forecast. And then once I have my forecast, I can then use it in the stock availability forecast report. So here I can decide I'd like to see my forecast until the end of March 2026. And I just need here to choose my sales forecast method of Save Forecast, choose the forecast, and then click Forecast. Breww will then present to me each month how much I expect to have by the end of that month. So I can see my current stock here for each of my products, and I can see for each of November, December, January, February, and March how much I'd expect to finish based on that sales forecast and based on any planned packagings I have. So we don't currently have any planned packagings entered into the system. So Breww thinks that the sales forecast is all that we are planning to happen. But you can see here we have current stock of 2,060. By the end of November, it'll be 1,000. And by December, I'll have dropped 891 cases below zero. So I will need to obviously plan to brew some clear water lager and have it packaged in time for them. If you're wondering exactly when in December you might fall below, you can click on the month and view an exact time frame about when the exact date you will end up on zero. So here we can say it's going to be December the 17th. So I can then use that in my forecast to decide, okay, I need to make sure that I'm working back from December the 17th to make sure I'll have enough clear water lager by that date.